Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
When I sat down to watch New Year's Eve, I don't know what I was expecting. You know, I was expecting like the regular slasher kind of movie, you know, blood and guts, but it was so funny. It was
Yeah.
great. It was great. So tell us before we get into that, tell us how did you get into acting?
Originally I was a model. I started modeling when I was 14. Modeling eventually took me to New York when I turned 18, and it just wasn't so fulfilling. I'm an inch too short for like the New York ideal. So I've always been very creative. So I decided to just like jump headfirst into it. I started taking any acting class I could get my hands on. I was in New York for 2 years before I enrolled into an acting college, a 2-year acting college. So I got a degree, got official, and I just loved it. I was so obsessed. I worked with a few different film companies and I was working on any set that I could get my hands on. Like I was an extra on tons of movies. I don't know. It was just a creative outlet for me originally. And I just was so obsessed with it. It was like the first thing that I found that I just had such, it's like when you find like the sport that you love to play in high school, like that was my equivalent for acting for like people. I was like, wow, this is it. This is like, I actually enjoy this.
Well, I'm glad that you did find it. And speaking of just a second ago, we were talking about New Year's Eve.
Hmm.
So what did you think when you first read the script?
Let me think. It's been a while. It's been a while. So, I'm not sure if it's been discussed, but I originally went in for like a very small part, because I was here taking care of my grandmother. Um, so I wasn't planning on staying in Kentucky. So I originally went out for a very small part, and they ended up bringing me on for like one of the leads. So I was already kind of, you know, taken off my feet. But whenever I first read the script, um, what did I think when I first read the script? I didn't expect it for sure. Like, I thought I was auditioning for a small part in like a gory slasher. The stuff that I read in that original script, just I was like, we might get canceled. I don't know if I don't know if we're making it off this set, but ended up just it. I think because I was so sensitive. I have New York ideals still, but hmm, what did I think? It was so funny. It was so funny. I've read a lot of scripts in my life, and that one is just the most off the wall mess that I've ever read in my life. I was cracking up in my bedroom reading it, and that's never happened to me before. So,
Like I said, I wasn't expecting it to turn
me
out.
neither.
They didn't. Nobody warned me that
Mm-mm. That's
it.
the best way to go into it, I think.
It was so funny, and the way that all of y'all interact in it. It was
Hmm.
like just a natural, like you just knew somebody from high school. You know what I mean? It
Well, I
was
did.
just, oh, really?
Yeah, my one of my best friends growing up was is Matthew Titchener. His sister was one of my best friends. So
Okay.
I actually knew Matthew going into it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. I'm sure
Mhm.
that helped.
Yeah, it did so much. And then Turner just like whenever Turner showed up, he just like folded into us like we'd known him for like it's written in the movie like we've known each other for like 20 years. Like it was so natural with all three of us.
Yeah, and the way that you know one of the characters can be kind of what's a good word? I'm not sure how to put it, but he says a lot of things he probably shouldn't.
Hmm.
What was it like being on set doing that and not busting out laughing?
So I was the self-proclaimed HR on set. So anytime something and anybody will tell you, anytime something took it a little bit too far, somebody took said something a little a little too out of the box. I was over there just screaming, HR, HR, just over and over again. And let me tell you, I lost my voice a few times.
I imagine because it's wild,
Hmm.
but it's so well done. Y'all
Yeah, I
did
think
an
so. Yeah.
amazing job. Just like I said, it's like y'all had known each other forever. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And you made one hell of a final girl.
Thank you.
and
Thank you. I appreciate that.
that and I've got my fingers crossed. And I told PJ, I like, you gotta do some more. I gotta know the rest of the story because now
Hmm.
it's like left that way on a cliffhanger, and you're just like, what? I need to know what happened. So that it's amazing. What was it like dealing with all of the special effects, like all the blood and guts, literally on set?
Sorry, I just got a notification. So I actually really dodged a bullet. I I mean, the most that I had to deal with was we filmed a separate like teaser trailer a few weeks before we actually started like actual filming. And that was the only time that I was like covered in blood. There's like some of like the promo posters, like I just have blood just all over my face. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I didn't have to do that again. That's so overstimulating. So bless everybody that was just covered in blood. I could not imagine doing that again. But I don't know if that's a spoiler. I probably shouldn't say it, but there was like I had a couple of scenes where I had some blood on me, and I mean that the SFX people, the makeup artist, they made, I think, if I remember correctly, they made their own like blood concoction, like their own fake blood. And like, I mean, it came out perfectly, thank goodness. Like it washes away perfectly, but it is sticky as all get out. It is so sticky. I had some blood like on my arm for a while and it was like all stuck in my arm hair. And I was like, I'm gonna have to, it's gonna feel like I'm waxing it off. Like whenever I finally got it off. But I mean, I've just never seen it like that. This is my first horror movie. It's the first time I've ever even been on a horror set. So it was just so interesting, like seeing it all come together and like the difference between like looking at somebody and somebody that's supposed to be dead and they're covered in blood and then like they're talking to me. I'm like, oh, that's scary. But I
And
didn't
if,
really have to deal with it directly too much. Final girl perks.
well, since it was your first horror film, do you think you're going to stick with the genre?
I don't know. That's a thing that people like to do. Like, I really do feel like it's like people find their calling whenever they do a horror film and they're like, they become like the Scream Queens. And I mean, I loved it, but I also have I just love doing everything. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so interested in I've said since I was like a kid that I wanted to be a superhero on a screen so many times. Like, I'm so obsessed with the idea of like being a superhero. Maybe that could be a horror movie. You
You
never
never
know.
know.
Um, I would love to do another one. I just don't know if I would really like push myself into a corner just with horror movies.
That's understandable. And you're still young.
Hmm. Yeah.
Usually, it's middle age when people are like hardcore one
Yeah, in
genre
a
or
genre,
another.
yeah.
So you got time to have some fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. I hope
But
so.
yeah, you did a fantastic job as the final girl. I was very impressed
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
that you're that like perfect combo of sweet and I can take care of myself.
Hmm. That's what I was
That
going
kind
for.
of.
I was just so annoyed. Like I was just going for just like I cannot believe I'm hanging out with these people every day.
Well, I mean, you really did. It's hard to get that balance right, and it's hard for people to find characters that they can really connect with. Like you can see yourself having a conversation with somebody,
Hmm.
and your character was perfect at that. And the fact that she could hang with the boys and tolerate them helped.
Yeah. I think she was just really well written. Really
Yes, she
well
was.
written. It was so easy. Like it was so natural to just like bring it off of a script for me.
Right. So, what was your response the first time you saw the doctor?
Um, I don't even know. Well, okay. So, gosh, I don't know if that's a spoiler either. I'm like trying to think how do I even. So the doctor is played by Jesse. Um, and Jesse is just the funniest person probably to walk the earth. Like he's so funny and he's so naturally just like witty, just he comes up with the funniest things just like on the fly. And it was just so jarring to watch him because he's so tall too. It's so jarring to like watch him go from like his happy-go-lucky, just like joking around to like all fitted up in that costume. And I mean, plus the hat, like the hat makes him like 7 feet tall. And I'm tall, like I'm not short by any means. So just like seeing him in that costume and just like I'm just like, okay. Any scenes that like he's like walking. I'm like, that is horrifying. Like that's actually because I'm not a jumpy person. Like horror movies don't really like if I find like a scary movie that's like making me like jump out of my seat, like that's a win. That's a win for me. And it is just such a different experience, like be on set and like be like having this like foreboding like feeling just when I'm just trying to do my job, you know?
Right.
So he did amazing.
It is. It's definitely a creepy costume. We don't see, many, medicine doctors.
Hmm.
The old ones from like the plague days.
Yeah, yeah.
That mask. We don't see much of that, and I think
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah. I thought it was just so I didn't so I was explained the concept and before they got like the whole like costume together and I'll be honest, I didn't really I was like there's just no way. There's no way this like comes to life and it like is like as horrifying as like I imagined it was going to be. And I mean, they got the right guy to do the job. They really did. So,
Yeah, it's definitely creepy, and I can't wait. Hopefully, we'll get a sequel,
I
and
hope
you
so.
can, kick some ass, and get drenched in blood, sticky blood, and
So,
then we can see you in action some more, and definitely, you know, get your crown as scream queen.
hmm I hope so. Really hope so.
That would be awesome. So, if you had some advice to give young girls starting out that want to be actresses, what would you tell them?
Hmm. That's a good question. Because, I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how I got into it, especially in like small towns. Like, my advice would probably be to just go for it and put yourself out there. Like, the only person that's embarrassed of what you're doing is yourself. So just get a blue background, put yourself on tape, and just find open calls and just apply. Like, what's the worst gonna happen?
Right. It's good
Yeah.
advice. All right, now I have to ask, since we're on the subject of horror, what's your favorite scary movie?
Ah, gosh. What is my favorite scary movie? See, I'm weirdly not a classics person. Like a lot of the movies that PJ and Eric, they would have them on their t-shirts, and I'm like, I've never seen that. I've never even heard of some of them. Like they just have like a very niche taste in movies. I think a film that like really holds a special place in my heart is the original Conjuring. Um, I just have such a vivid memory of being in a theater. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember I was not supposed to be there. I snuck into a theater and I watched that movie and I mean, that was the most I've ever just jumped and like been scared out in public. Like that was great. Yeah, I think Conjuring. I would say The Conjuring, the
It's,
first
it,
one.
it really is. It's a strong horror film. It really is.
I
And
just
so,
love jump scares.
yeah, there's definitely some spooky moments in there.
Yeah.
But You know, horror movies are crazy. But I'm hoping that we will see more of you in them. And hopefully the blood won't be sticky next time.
Hopefully.
But I thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you for having me.
If you are looking for a mix of bloody horror and laugh-out-loud moments, watch New Fear's Eve now on Prime or Screambox. Visit horrorfuel.com for news and over 300 interviews.